Hi, in this lecture we are going to try an authentication bypass attack. Basically, if you can log in without using the password, that's awesome. That's going to be immediately a critical finding in your report. But with that said, this is not some kind of boilerplate attack. You cannot just find it everywhere or search for it. What you need to do is closely analyze how the login works and then try to find problems in the login process. So that's what we are going to do. So let's go to the Voice of the Emperor. So make sure that burp is running and make sure that you are using burp in your browser, and then load the admin page. Accept the certificate. And then first I go back to burp. We did this earlier, that I mark the current state so that we'll see which requests are really related to the login. So let's log in, admin, long live the emperor.
General, prepare your troops for a surface attack.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, so we logged in. Let's go back to burp. You could see that there are two requests related to the login. Basically, the first one is when you send the credentials, you get a redirect to the panel page, and the second one is just loading that page. So mostly the first one is interesting for us. So let's really look at what happens here. So we know there is the Anchor CMS cookie, there is the CSRF token which doesn't work, then here's the username, and here's the password, and there is something which was not on the login side, so there was no input field for it, but there is still another parameter called isScriptAdmin. So that really reminds me to old well-known vulnerability, which you could still see in some web applications. That's the admin equals 1. Basically what happened is that people, to use admin rights, people just put in the URL this parameter admin, and if it equal to 1, then the user got admin rights. So this is similar. There is some kind of parameter here talking about an admin. So we need to check somehow whether we can do anything with it. So let's send this to the repeater and go there. First, we can just send it again to see that this is a successful login because it redirects to the panel. Now this cookie is already logged in, so we need another cookie, but we know that the application is vulnerable to session fixation, so we can use any other value as a cookie. The token now doesn't matter because it doesn't work. So first, this cookie is already logged in, so we need to use another cookie, but since we know that the application is vulnerable to session fixation, we can just use any other value. The token is also fine because the CSRF protection doesn't work. There's the username and there's the password. We need to change the password now because we want to figure out how to log in without password. So I will just change it to AAA. And then let's try a few things with this parameter. So is scriptadmin? Yes. Let's see what happens. Nothing. As you could see, it redirects us to the login page. That means that the login was not successful. Then let's try true. It still didn't work. Let's try 1. Also didn't work. Let's try 0. Still not. Okay, so we don't have too much luck, but let's stop a little bit and think. What does this parameter really says? It's a question, and it says is scriptadmin. So maybe the user has to be scriptadmin. So let's try with that. Scriptadmin. Is scriptadmin 0? No. Then yes. Still not working. 1. Oh, now it worked. So it seems that if we use the username scriptadmin and is scriptadmin is 1, then we get a login. That looks really good. We just need to test it in the browser. So I will go back to the proxy and let's clear our session here. Privacy, clear recent history, clear. All right, and yes, now we want to turn on intercept and we say script admin and some random password login. It gets intercepted in burp. Yes, and now we have to say here 1. And we are in. That's awesome. That means that with the user script admin, you can log in without actually having credentials. You just have to set this script admin variable to 1. But why is that? Let's go to the users. You can see there is actually really a script admin user. And if you open it, it says, this is a technical user to allow scripts to interact with the page. That actually not an entirely crazy scenario. So people really do this, that if they want scripts to use the application, they create some default accounts or anything. So to make it easy that scripts can always talk with the application. In our case, this basically gives us full administrator access to the application. That's really good. And this is just an example of an authentication bypass. Although it might look simple, but you could really see similar things in practice, sometimes in a more complicated environment, but the whole idea of it is similar. And yes, you will have to try a lot and you will fail most of the time, but when you find a problem, then you actually found a really critical problem. And that's gonna be awesome. As an exercise, you could look at the code of the Voice of the Emperor and try to find in the code where is this script admin users implemented and why it lets users in without actually checking the password. You can also fix it if you like. Also, try to make up new other scenarios when such a problem could emerge, why people would implement such things. And you could post a comment or start a discussions or something like that. Otherwise, see you in the next lecture. Bye.